Hi, I'm Rebecca Sun, Hollywood Reporter, Senior Editor of Diversity and Inclusion, and I'm so pleased to be here today for this In Creative Company conversation with some of the super talented ladies behind HBO's Emmy-nominated sketch comedy series, A Black Lady Sketch Show. Joining me today are Robin Thede. She's the creator, showrunner, EP, writer, and star of A Black Lady Sketch Show. Ashley Nicole Black, writer and an actor on the show, as well as Gabrielle Dennis, who is a star on the show. Thank you so much, ladies, for joining me. Super appreciate your time.
Yeah, we love any excuse to get together. And I don't know when this is running, but just so everyone knows, it is Ashley Nicole Black's birthday as we're shooting this now. So just whether it's later or the same day, like it's very important that you give her birthday love.
This is how I get to see my friends on my birthday. So
it's true. It's true.
We love you.
We are so excited to be here for this momentous occasion of your birthday, Ashley. We gathered this just for that.
Yes.
So I figured I'd start with an icebreaker question. And you guys have probably already been asked what your favorite character is that you've played, over 2 seasons of the show. But I'd like to ask, who is your favorite character of one of the other 2 ladies? Or both,
We love that question. We love that question better because even when people ask us what our favorite character is, we usually answer what our favorite character of the other women's is. So I think mine is super easy and it's one that is a little more obscure. I have so many favorites of both of theirs, but for Ashley, for me, season 1, it was Jackie Woodson, who was the annoying woman who went back to her high school and everyone pretended they didn't know her. It was because she was an anti-vaxxer. Again, timely, before its time, really. And this season, it would have to be, I don't even remember her name. It was the woman you played in the spin class sketch, who was just like a thought that was in the spin class trying to get answers about why her man that she cheated on didn't want to be with her. So that character is really fun. And for Gabrielle, she has so many. It's anytime I can see her flipping in a round off a cartwheel, a split, like that is so. Shantira the bailiff in Courtroom Kiki has always been a favorite. It's easy to pick things like Trinity for Ashley and Elisa for Gabrielle, but to me, it's the nuanced roles that they play that don't have as much to do, like Blade, this goth that had no lines in Sit Down Somewhere this season. Like Gabrielle is so iconic. That character already has like a fan page on Instagram. I don't know if you know that, Gabrielle. That one character who barely, who doesn't say anything, but is so physically hilarious that people glom on. So for me, it's always those little nuanced ones that find more corners of what these women can do because there is no limit.
For me, so my 2 favorites from Gabrielle this season are the lady who's in the exercise class, who's like struggling so hard. She's got her leg up in the air. She's just working so hard. And then in Friendtervention, the friend and the script said, like, she has one of those voices that always sounds like she's about to cry. Mm-hmm. And the way Gabrielle played that, it was just so funny. We were like laughing on set. I couldn't believe she took like such a simple direction and just made it so funny. But what I like about both of those women is like Gabrielle's like so gorgeous, is so confident. And the fact that she could embody those characters that are more nervous or having a hard time. And when she's like about to cry, she really is, because this is a thespian right here. But it's so funny at the same time. So I love whatever she plays, a sad character. Sorry.
It's funny because the handshake teacher from season 1 is kind of the same, and it's a favorite of not just us, of like the fans too. It's true. It is.
She makes it so real. And then for Robin, this is going to be a controversial pick, but I really like when Robin plays Robin in the interstitials. See, look at her face.
Not a compliment to my character work. Robin's characters are okay, but I just like when she's herself.
It's not you, because that lady is not the nicest.
That's true. That's true. It's not me.
And I just love that, like, I think a lot of times actors are afraid to not be pretty on camera, and Robin plays that character. She's like kind of power hungry, and she's like, Robin's just not afraid to go all the way there. And it's so much fun to play with. And my character likes to needle her character in those scenes, and we just have so much fun shooting them.
That is true. That is true.
And one of my favorite lines of yours, well, don't act like she's a fucking carrier this whole time. One of my favorite lines of yours. But for me, oh my gosh, first of all, I bow down to these queens. They're so amazing, so talented. And I'm just like Robin, where I like the more obscure, like I love to see the nuance. Like one of my favorite characters Robin knows, as I've told her several times, is her character from the first Trinity sketch in the first season that got to reprise that role and out of nowhere comes back. So those are those like roles I love to see that come, like the character work, her voice, because sometimes you have to do a little extra because you're either not talking or you have like one or two lines. And those sometimes are my favorite characters. And they're more interesting. Now I want to see, where does this person go? So for me in season one for Robin, that was definitely hands down one of my favorite characters that she played, because she does so many, but it's appreciated when you do so much with so little. That is like, it was brilliant. And then from Ashley in season one, I've told you this before in the, oh gosh, what's the name of the sketch when the mug gets stolen?
Killing it, the security guard, yes.
Security guard in that, it's just, Ashley just brought such a different essence that was so different than all of your other characters. It was literally one of my favorite characters. She was just so like, I want to go have lunch with this lady and like pick her brain. I've got questions. She was just so entertaining, and it was a fun look. It was a fun vibe. It was just, I really, really enjoyed that character. And I also just like seeing Ashley when she's frustrated. Frustrated Ashley is just hilarious to me, because she's just, look at these cheeks, look at this little
Yeah.
It's so sweet and fun, but like frustrated Ashley brings me joy.
It's great.
And I feel bad saying that. So there's like any of those characters, but also specifically the two of you in season two in The Last Supper.
Oh, so, you too. Oh my God.
Oh, like that character work, but the ad-libbing, like all of that ad-libbing that you guys did, like it was just so funny, and it was fun. It was really, really fun. So that was one of my favorite sketches, and it's because the character work in that and the ad-libbing made it that much more fun for me.
Yeah, me too. We all love Last Supper so much from season two. And it was funny when we do internal auditions for all of the roles. Like we all just sit around and read all the parts and see who's going to play them. But when Gabrielle read for Mary Magdalene, me and Ashley were like, yeah, we don't need to read. She's got it. She's
like,
good.
I don't need to waste my time. This is Gabrielle's part.
You can just tell a part is made for somebody. They did the work. It's like, you got it. And so, yeah, everybody improvised in that scene, Gabrielle included. 70% of that sketch, I feel like, is improvised at this point.
Yeah.
That sort of anticipates, that was kind of going to be my next question, which is how the sketches are sort of conceived and then constructed, how do you assign, I mean, you have such a talented core repertory, and then every guest you get is sort of, they feel like they were tailor-made, for that role.
Right.
They do. And so I wanted to ask you about just, that pitch process of how these sketches, come to life. And Robin, you and I spoke for a THR story a little while back, where you talked about how there's a shorthand because everybody in your writer's room is Black women. You don't have to sort of waste that time, like providing all the context in the background. But tell me a little bit about, and you feel free to use an example like The Last Supper, which, was incredibly specific. And for me as a pastor's kid, like I caught every single scriptural reference in that, which was like, I've never seen that. I've especially never seen that on HBO.
No. I mean, the thing is,
yes, I am also a PK, and those are my dad's favorite sketches.
Yep. And to get it right for the church going community is important. And genius Holly Walker wrote that sketch. And it is, we have this second hand in the room because we are all Black women. So she didn't have to say like, I always go back, because this is really Ashley's story, but I always go back to the first day of season one when Ashley said, okay, so I have a sketch. It's this girl, every time she gets broken up with, Patti LaBelle appears and forces her to sing On My Own before she'll leave. And we were like, yeah, why are you still in the room? Go write that sketch. Like, it's amazing. And she was like, oh, I didn't have to explain like who Patti LaBelle is. I didn't have to explain like what On My Own is, so there is this second hand in the room that you don't have to explain yourself or justify your presence in any way before you can pitch. And I think in a lot of rooms where we've been the only ones, we felt that pressure over the years. And so it's really refreshing and truly like a mecca for us to write in this environment. I think that's what makes the show so great. And I think the big thing too is that like when Holly Walker was writing The Last Supper, She made all the biblical references accurate. We care about that a lot. And so the only thing some people tried to ding us was that Saul changed his name after Jesus was crucified. But if you think about my character, she has the T before anybody else. So the fact that she knew before the crucifixion is still accurate. But we care about it at that level. We care about it at like a scholarly level. Ray Sani did a first draft, and then our head writer, Lauren Ashley Smith, and Ashley Nicole Black did a second draft on this sketch in first season called Roman Jalissa, which is a sketch about, it's kind of a parody take on Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet meets stan culture of the Barbs and the Cardi B stans. So the Nicki Minaj Barbs and the Cardi B stans. And so we mixed those two worlds. And in that second pass, like our original writer did an amazing job. And then Ashley and Lauren took it and made it perfect iambic pentameter because they both studied Shakespeare. And so in that way, we have this level of detail for these sketches that I think maybe other shows don't have the time for or just don't care to do. But for us, it's really important because this is kind of event television each year when this show comes around, and we work on it all year long. Some people think we only write it for 2 weeks and then it just shows up. But they're like, get back to work. And I'm like, I never stopped working. But but that's the care level that we take with everything, because now that Roman Jalissa sketch is being used in classes at universities and stuff. So, it's really cool. But I think that level of care is what really makes the show stand on its own.
It's also like such a gift to us as writers and also as performers. And Gabrielle's talked about this. You go to school and you learn Shakespeare and you learn to dance and you learn to sing and you learn all these different styles. And then when you get in television, it's like stand here and say set up so this guy can say a punchline, and you don't get to use all those toolbox. So what's really fun about this show is every day that you show up to set, you're in a different time period, you're in a different character, different accents, and you really get to stretch all of those muscles that we spent years, building coming up.
You guys are like setting up my next questions perfectly, because my next question was actually going to be about, one of the things I appreciate about a Black Lady sketch show is that it's both highly specific in its comedy, but it really shows you that specific doesn't mean narrow. I mean, the range. I mean, everybody on the show has range, but I'm curious about, and particularly because I know you guys have all, come up through sort of different avenues of the industry. And, like Ashley, you were a writer and correspondent on CMB's show. And Gabrielle in particular, I mean, you've been acting steadily, for a long time, and you've done comedy and drama. But I'm curious about what has been the difference between the breadth of work that you've been able to do on this show versus, I would say, what typically is available to you in Hollywood,
It's magical. I know that sounds really bizarre to say, or cliche, but it is so magical. There's a sense of freedom. There's this sense of being seen. On this show, working with these women and the appreciation from this audience, I've been working since I was a little kid, and to actually be seen doing sketch comedy, to have conversations around the Emmys because I did sketch comedy, to have people lift me up and support us in this show and just give so much praise to the work that we do and the range. Like you said, we cover the bases in range. So the ability to be able to show up, and to some people it feels like out of nowhere, but I've been acting for so long, and to be on a show that I get to really utilize all of my tools. And Robin's such this great cheerleader. She's like, and that was season 2. So season 3, we're going to show even more. You've got more to show. They don't even know. And so Robin knows more than I even know. She believes in me so much that season 2, I found I was able to dig deeper and find new things. And I was like, from season 1, because my background is so much heavily in balancing the rope of both, and or people recognizing me more with some of my bigger projects were more in the dramatic space. So that first season for me was kind of like me feeling like I was stepping into this new world. And, as a human being, you have your insecurities or you have your questions and your doubts, and you're like, oh, they're going to like me, it's going to find me funny. But season 2, once you realize, I'm a part of something special, season 2 was like, all right, rip off the Band-Aid and let loose. And going through this pandemic and filming through a pandemic made this experience even that much more special. There's a new bond that we have together. We kind of survived this element of this existence together. And for me, as a longer, it's too late. It's a long answer. But the point I'm trying to make is there's a level of freedom, freedom in the ability to do what I've been trained to do and not feel that it's going to be frowned upon, or it's going to not work, or it's not going to be permitted. But the fact that they with open arms, if I bust out a cartwheel in the middle of a rehearsal and you're like, love it, make sure you do it again. It's like, okay, sure. So it's just like this freedom of, as an artist also, there's this freedom to discover and to rediscover things that I forgot I knew how to do because they've been locked away for so long. So I think this show's just been amazing. And as an artist, it's just a special treat. And I'm always the one saying, don't cry, because I get so freaking emotional. I'm such sad. But it means a lot. Like, it really does. It means a lot.
Oh, we love you.
Love you.
But that freedom is real. And it was important that we fostered that. And we only explored that more in season 2. And these women came as the vets, right? They came into season 2 just guns blazing. And I was just like, I mean, from the first internal table read, I was just like, oh, wow. Like, yeah. And it's like, oh, I don't have to tell them anything. I think we were still kind of like shaping it in season 1 and seeing how far we could push it and what the audience we were all kind of like not limiting ourselves, because certainly season 1 is amazing. But I think we thought we were acting at the extent of our full comedic range. And then in season 2 it was like, oh, wait, I don't know, whatever boundaries we had felt like they just fell away. And it really felt like we just opened up. And now in a season 3, I'm like, oh, wow, what is going to happen? Like, I'm so excited. Like, all we have to do is deliver great material. And then these women elevate it to just I don't know, an unbelievable level. And it's so fun to watch because you can see them. They'll cold read a script and make it 10 times better, and our writers are amazing, but it's so funny when they put their thing on it, especially now because of the ownership, I think, that they feel, and the freedom. I mean, I can't speak for you guys, but I hope you feel this. We've made this whole show together from day one. Yes, I created the show, but like, this show is nothing without the cast, the writers, the crew. Like, we all work as a team. We have a real culture on set too, that there is no hierarchy. There's not like this, oh, well, the actors stay over here and no one talks to them, and that kind of energy. It's like, we're all just Black women making TV. So it's all just a real family culture, which is fun.
Another aspect, I think, of, you guys are portraying these, wildly different characters in each sketch. And that's a huge credit to the writing. That's a huge credit to you guys as performers. I also wanted to ask you guys about hair and makeup, because that's a conversation that I think people are like non-Black people are starting to kind of be like, oh,
but they don't really get it.
Right.
Yeah.
And so talk to me a little bit about how you are able to, about the team, how they're able to make, you guys can look fabulous when you want to. You can look like half dead zombies when you want to, but just the range, you have to have hair and makeup crew who have the range, right?
They're incredible. Nikki Wright, our head of hair, has been with us since season 1. April Cheney stepped in season 2 and just blew us away with the makeup. And they are, and costumes. Let's not forget costumes. Sassy, our wardrobe designer, our costume designer, is amazing too. But the hair alone, right? So, I think non-Black people, very much like you're saying, Rebecca, do not understand. They take for granted the different hairstyles on the show. But if you notice, we never repeat a hairstyle in any season. There are hundreds. If there's 5 of us in a sketch and dozens of sketches, just do the math. Like, sometimes there's 10 of us. This sketch reunited and it feels so weird. Aisha Curry came to do a couple of lines, but came with micro braids, and we had to have a wig on her that matched Ashley's wig because they were playing doppelgangers. And they got that wig over braids. That's, again, if you're not Black, I don't know if you really understand the significance of what that feat was, that feat and miracle of science. But it's crazy. And they only have 45 minutes to do our hair. It's not like we're sitting in hair and makeup for hours and hours on end. They have 45 minutes for hair and 45 minutes for makeup. That's it. So all of these amazing specialty looks, well, like the genie that you know, when Gabrielle had to get painted blue, that was longer. And when I played Chris, the beard takes a couple hours, but they just stepped everything up. Chris's beard got an upgrade this season. You know, it's like all of that stuff. They don't just look at something like, how can we make them look pretty? Like you said, because oftentimes we love, I'll speak for myself. I love looking unrecognizable or ugly. I don't know what's ugly, but like, I love looking different or shocking in my appearance. I think we all do. And so they take that seriously. Like Selena Duplass is this character I play in a sketch called Get Your Life, which is a sketch about a MASH game gone wrong. And I was like, I want a cul-de-sac hairline. Like I want my hair to go back here. And I'm not making fun of women who have natural thinning, by the way, because I've had that in my past. I know it all too well. But this particular character has had a tough time. And so that's how she's manifested it. But it was something I saw in like Murder, She Wrote. And I was like, I've never seen a woman with that hairline. Why can't we see a woman with that hairline on TV? So I just think it's fun that they are able to take our ideas and execute them in a way that's so high level and that is so dynamic for the characters and fun.
And I want to also just note earlier how you were saying how not having to explain yourself in the room as writers, it's also amazing as an artist to sit and have a conversation with a hair and a makeup or a wardrobe and explain, I have an idea for this, and they instantly understand what that is. And not only do they understand it, they're able to execute it even better than I envisioned, you know? So like with my Shantira character, when I said, I cannot see this woman with anything other than burgundy finger waves, boom, done. And then this season they stepped up the game and they brought me with blue finger waves. So it's just like the fact that they care so much, they're so talented. And also just they're artists as well. So they get to stretch muscles and do things that they don't get to do often. You know, if they're typical go-to on a regular basis, if they work in a salon or if they work on a regular show, is style it, make it pretty, keep it crisp, keep it nice, keep it neat. But here they just get to go and just be wild and crazy and just really challenge themselves as artists too, which I think which is so great about this show is that we all really get to tap into our artistry at its most finite level and discover things and new talents that we didn't know we could do. And I think there's just so much beauty in that, like to celebrate artistry in its purest form, to really grow together. And I think that's just beautiful in itself. And they do a great job with our background as well. Like they're everywhere.
Yeah. So one of my favorite moments on set, I love when I'm sitting in the hair trailer and one of the guest stars will come on, you know, this is their first time on our set. They don't know what to expect. And as soon as they walk into the hair trailer and they see wigs all over her, you know, and they see a bunch of Black women in the hair trailer, you see the relaxation because we're so used to going on set and ending up in a trailer where someone doesn't know how to do your hair, doesn't know how to do your makeup, or as a plus size person, there are people who've been mad they had to dress me. And you come, there's like 2 little t-shirts on the rack and you're like, okay, you know, what am I supposed to do with this? So it's really the beginning of their day on set that they come into hair and see that their texture is going to be taken care of. The person sitting in the chair will know what they're talking about if they request something specific. And that just shows like how the rest of the day is going to go, that it's like, and we have a lot of actors who are more dramatic actors. A lot of people, of course, their first time doing sketch, because not a lot of people do sketch, but they know from that moment at 6 a.m. that they're going to be taken care of for the rest of the day. And I just love getting to share that experience with other actors because we're spoiled.
Yeah, on this show, we really are. We really are. And we've all been on other things and been like, not the same, not that experience, you know. It really is like a mecca of just kind of this celebration of Black women that is so fun.
And I don't think it may seem insignificant if you're not Black or minority, have had the experience of going to a hair makeup trailer and feeling that shock and that like, oh my gosh, how is this going to go? Or having to have a small kit to go fix it yourself, or having it come with your hair already basically done and they just kind of touch it and go. But it speaks volumes when you can see someone with, you know, mixed texture or full kinky hair, they can come with their hair in its natural state and get any and everything that they would want to get without the stress of actually doing a hair and makeup person's job in addition to their job as an actor. That is huge. And I don't know if people watching this can understand how big and significant that is, but it really sets the tone, as Ashley said, for the rest of the day, but it also helps you stay in pocket to do the job you showed up to do and not have to worry about doing other people's jobs. I don't understand how much I can stress that, how much that means. And hopefully that gets more, like we're getting better in the industry, like we're having these types of conversations, but the more we get there, I feel like it just makes a better overall experience for everybody. And I think that's just kudos to our amazing team that Robin put together.
I'm so glad you guys mentioned all of those points and co-sign. It's critical. I once heard from somebody who told me that they had a client, a Black woman who was a series regular and did her own hair for 3 seasons.
Yeah. All the time. Super common. Super.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that, and that, if that's, it's like not being treated as a professional, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm so glad you guys mentioned that. So, man, this time flew by, but I wanted to wrap by looking ahead, you know, towards season 3, because obviously HBO, not a dummy, has renewed the show for season 3. You know, this is kind of going to be a catch-all. I'm going to roll up a bunch of my questions into one, which is, you know, either you know, the obvious, like the dream guest question, who is still on your wish list? Because you guys have already obviously had like, and I love the range of people that you get. I think you have people who are sort of like universally known. And then I think you have people who are like, who is it? Like Tony Baker, somebody who it's like, you know, very like specific. And it's sort of like, you know, like you should know this person if you are not Black, you know, and it's a great range. Dream guests, but also like, you know, are you currently like inspired by anything, or do you have a theme going into season 3? You know, what are you looking forward to?
I think themes are the bane of sketch. I don't do themes for sketch. We just do things that are funny. We're just living our lives and finding the relatable, grounded stories that we can put into this magical reality. So I'm never out of sketch ideas. For the last 25 years, I'm always writing sketches. It's just something I do. And our writers are never out either. So I think the cool thing is that for us, a dream guest is truly anybody we can think of, right? I mean, like anyone from Michelle Obama to Viola Davis to Beyonce. But for me, someone mentioned Janet Jackson recently, and I was like, duh, of course, we have to have her. Denzel Washington, of course, we've been trying to get for years. And my big one is Blue Ivy. I think Blue Ivy is really funny. And I say that, people think I'm joking. I'm like, I'm dead serious. I think Blue Ivy is hilarious and has a dry sense of humor that would be perfect for this show. And I want to find something for her.
She has the best expressions. Like she just has this real deadpan, which is, she's the
best. I don't know. But then there's lots of people like friends of the family that we will get on, you know, the Tiffany Haddish, Regina Hall, Wanda Sykes, you know, all those people whose schedules just haven't allowed us to work it out. But like, we're determined every season that we're going to get more and more. Tracee Ellis Ross, you know, all these amazing women that want to do the show, and that we just need to, you know, line up those schedules. I don't know, ladies, who do you want to see?
I mean, when you mention Janet, I'm always like, like Janet is it for me. But you know what? You guys do such a great job of like putting the right guest stars in the right spaces. I feel honored to work with any and all that come through. We did such a great job of getting the right people that want to come and play and be game. But Janet Jackson will be like ultimate for me, just because when I think of fandom, she's the one for me. I don't have a lot of people that act that way for her. She's one of them. Michelle or Barack will be great. Yeah. Denzel's the ultimate.
Yeah.
What do we call him? The King of Blacks. We gotta have the King of Blacks in the show.
King of Blacks.
So yeah.
Ashley, who's yours?
Well, you know, I pitch based on who I want to make eyes at in a romantic scene. So right now, Anthony Mackie's high on the list.
Oh God. Okay.
Falcon, if you're out there.
Of course. This is what Ashley does. Ashley just writes sketches so she can be in it with me. The first season, we were like, why does Ashley have all the boyfriends in sketches?
I like a multitasker, man.
Listen, we're busy. Who has time for Tinder?
Listen, she is a genius on many levels. And we'll get lots more guys in their season 3 too. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We have to see how it takes out.
I look forward to it. I love that Black Lady Sketch Show it's inclusive. You guys are a great showcase for guys. You don't always just play Black ladies, for one thing. You know, and so we really can't wait. This show is such an oasis or a mecca, as you said, it sounds like, not only for the people who make it, but I think that for the viewers that you have in mind, that you've made this for, I really think that it's this oasis in the media landscape. And the fact that the rest of us get to enjoy it and get to share and get to learn is bonus. So thank you guys so much for your work. I'm a stan
We love that.
Definitely a privilege to be able to do this. Thank you guys, the viewers, for tuning in to this very special conversation. A Black Lady Sketch Show is available on HBO and HBO Max, and for your consideration.
Yes. So nice they gave us 2 networks.